Hello, I'm Serena Putri from the Department of International Relations at Binus University and focusing on streaming multinational corporations. In my opinion, working in an MNC is a great job. MNCs are very large companies and have wide connections. My goal is to work in MNC, especially in the field of government relations. The companies that I've been aiming for so far are Shopee and Unilever. However, if I work in another field, I can also apply the analytical skills that I have gained from this course. The material and lecture in this course also make me more critical and structured in thinking. I believe that this course will support me to be a person who is involved in policy and decision making, which requires creative innovation to meet current situations in the field. Everything that I've learned from this course will be very useful for my future development. The basis of the principle of political economy is the interaction between the state and market. In explaining this interaction, Susan Strange identifies two powers, namely relational power and structural power. In the relational power, Strange sees the state's condition, whether it is authoritarian, which prioritizes military defense and security forces, liberal countries that prioritize wealth in terms of finance or ownership, or democratic countries that prioritize freedom and justice. Structural power is used to analyze the relationship between states that dominates by creating dependency. Strange identifies four structures of structural power within the international political economy. First, the security structure. Power in the security structure flows from providing security by one group to another to gain an advantage in the production or consumption of wealth and privileges in the society as applied in the colonialism era such as VOC. This Dutch-owned trading community came to Indonesia by relying on its trade, which was equipped by state-owned military forces. Second, the production structure. Strange delivers that the production structure can create wealth in the political economy. In the Industrial Revolution, the country has a high ability to produce goods with large capacity and high quality, such as the Japanese Sogo Sosa. Japan has shown a rapid growth production system. It has been adopted and adapted in various industries, companies, stages of the value chain, and also encourage shift in economic characteristics in the ASEAN. Third, financial structure. Strange argues that financial structure is the most important dimension in the international political economy. Financial structure is described as the ability of the state to be hegemony and control the market by providing loans or credit creations to states in need. For example, China's investment in Nigeria drove more than 200 companies to open and operate their business in the country. In fact, it is inevitable for Nigeria to obtain many benefits from the investment. But this also threatened Nigeria's dependence on the Chinese economy and undermined their own economic security. The last is knowledge structure. This is a structure where countries that have high technology tend to have high dominance over the others because they have the ability to transfer technology. For example, Google dominates search engines around the world. Even though Google is a private actor, but the country where it is located, US, can dominate technology in the world. Market actors in the field of IPE of MNC include actors that can influence business aspects, including profit and loss, such as the consumer, the firm, and owners of the factors of production, while non-market actors look at the interaction between government and society. MNCs have a privileged position as a result of their structural power in the global economy, their importance to national economies, and as a result of their ability to exert influence in their own right. MNCs need state support to operate, support the regulations, and the agreements within intergovernmental organizations to achieve their business interests. Therefore, it is important for them to influence states in achieving this outcome. One of them is by affecting civil society. The dominant position of many US MNCs at the global level allows them to be a factor for the penetration of the global economy by the US state and for it to set the rules of global economic governance. There are three MNC international strategies when expanding branches in other countries. The first is multi-domestic. Multi-domestic is used by companies that focus on profit center. Companies are expanding, supporting labor and funds, with the aim of the state having to focus on getting profit by increasing efficiency or sales. The impact of this strategy is that companies become focused on local needs and act independently like domestic companies in general. One of the companies implementing a multi-domestic strategy is the Danone Group. Danone does not sell the same goods to its market but creates products that meet the taste of each country or adapt to local tastes to ensure that the needs of local consumers are met. For example, Danone built a factory and introduced yogurt brands specifically designed for the Russian market, such as Danissimo and Activia. Second, Mega National. This strategy integrates all company activities around the world as a single market or single production base. This strategy combines the profit center with several regions to become an expense center and revenue center, but the decision remains at the headquarters. Mega-national strategies encourage companies to carry out activities at the lowest cost to maximize profit. For example, automotive companies such as Toyota, Volkswagen, GM, and Ford. The company takes automobile components from locations around the world, manufactures them in one global factory, and then distributes the finished product worldwide. Third, the transnational. The transnational strategy implements product standardization, and the adaptation process is carried out at the same time. This strategy mixes mega-national and multi-domestic strategies to balance the global market with local products being marketed. The transnational strategy encourages companies to coordinate in formulating what is best in its local market to then be used as a global standard and applied in our branches. It is important for companies to adapt to the taste of local consumers like Starbucks. Starbucks initially aimed to create a global brand, but over time it became more focused on local market tastes. Porter's Diamond approach aims to understand the factors that give certain actors a competitive advantage. Porter identifies four determining factors that shape a company's competitiveness, namely factor input conditions, context for firm strategy and rivalry, demand conditions, and related and supporting industries. Factor input conditions. Factor conditions in a state refer to the availability of natural, capital, and human resources. For example, a country rich in natural resources such as oil in Saudi Arabia makes Saudi one of the largest oil exporters in the world. Demand conditions. Domestic demand greatly influences how profitable an industry is in each country. Satisfy a demanding domestic market propels companies to scale new heights and possibly gain early insights into the future needs of customers across borders. States thus gain competitive advantage in industries where the local customers gives companies a greater picture of emerging buyer needs to innovate faster and achieve more sustainable competitive advantage. Related and supporting industries. For Apple, related and supporting industries are very helpful in leading the brand to achieve new goals every year and grow its business. Apple has a strong global supplier network that helps it distribute its products to different consumer markets that makes them easily visible and accessible to customers. Context for firm strategy and rivalry. Domestic competition in particular plays an important role for global competitiveness, as it forces companies to develop strange and innovate continuously to increase their competitive advantage. An example is the Japanese automotive industry with intense competition between players such as Nissan, Honda, Toyota, Suzuki, and Mitsubishi. Due to intense domestic competition, it is also easier for them to compete in the foreign markets. This course is very interesting and insightful. In the IPE of MNC course, we learn about several major theoretical perspectives in understanding the relations between companies and state and apply these perspectives in assessing practical issues related to MNCs. Mas Aji as a lecturer is competent in deliver the material clearly. The assignments given are also effective and efficient. It trains students to think analytically and critically, as well as train how to work together in team. For the improvement of this course is that I can explore cases of other MNCs related to the perspective theory. In addition, it can enrich students with the latest theoretical perspective related to MNCs. I also hope that this course can provide a real picture in the work world regarding to how the company's connection with the government, because I personally interested to work in the field of government relations. That's all from me. Hopefully this video can be useful in understanding IPE of MNC. Thank you for watching.